Realtors, social media trends are destroying your digital marketing. I'm going to explain why and what to do instead. If you don't know me, my name is Cole Jarvis. I run Jarvis Media Consolidated. We've done all of these things for our clients down below, which are mostly real estate agents, and those are the reasons why I might have something to say about this. So let's get into the topics here. So here's why social media trends are hurting your marketing. Number one, trends are getting more eyeballs. However, they're less targeted. If we're just trying to become an entertainment on social media, or an entertainer, I should say, on social media, then yes, we want to get, more brand approach, more reach, more people following us. That's the actual goal. But if we're a business and we're trying to sell a service or a product to a certain type of client, then more eyeballs doesn't help us unless those eyeballs are also a part of our target demographic. So that's why people always say niche down, because if you're a business owner, it doesn't actually help to get a lot of eyeballs if none of those people are going to be potential home buyers or sellers in your market, right? So that's why we need to get the right people. So trends, yes, they'll help you get a lot more views, but at the end of the day, we don't want to do that necessarily. And a really quick note too, how algorithms work is that when you put out a piece of content, it gets seen by your inner circle, and then it gets seen by more and more people if your inner circle likes it. So, one, if you're just starting to build your brand on social media, you don't want your inner circle to start to be built out of people who are interested in the trend, not what you're actually going to be talking about or buying or essentially selling them, right? Your services as a real estate agent. We want to get only people who are interested in our circle. These aren't followers, these are just people who get served your content. We don't want those people to be anybody other than our target demographic. That's going to help you so much down the road. I can't even begin to explain. So we want to make sure we're not getting the wrong people in our ecosystem, even if it gets more views. Eyeballs that are not part of our demographic are not only not helpful, but they're also bad for our overall algorithm. Just putting that out there. So number two, trends are hardly ever on brand. This kind of goes to the point I was saying before, but if you're a real estate agent and you're doing all of these trends that are popping up on social media, chances are the vast majority of them are not going to be relevant to your market. If you're really, really creative and clever, you might be able to make them relative to real estate. I saw a lot of people do that in 2020 when a certain illness was very big, and everyone was making a joke about toilet paper and saying that's how potential buyers are showing that they have the funds to basically put toward to get approved for a loan for a house, which was very funny. But again, you get back to the issue of before where it's like, yes, it's going to get a lot of virality. But however, if you get a lot of people to like the joke, even if they're interested in it because it's real estate related, if they're not in your network of people who you can serve, if you work in Alabama, it doesn't help if you get seen by people in Florida, right? So we want to make sure that everything is on brand for us. And that basically means if you're a real estate agent, people who are potential buyers or sellers in your market. So it doesn't help to get views, again, if they're not people who are actually going to be able to buy or sell your product. If your goal is to create social media to grow your business, which is what we talk about, if your goal is to actually just get the vanity metrics, then yeah, go ahead and go nuts with that. I don't recommend it though. Number three, trends constantly change and are very hard to test. So the best thing that we can do in social media, the thing that stands apart from the rest of the different forms of marketing out there, is that we're able to test and get immense sources of data. Marketing companies used to sell data that we're able to get for free now for hundreds of thousands of dollars 20, 30 years ago. So the fact that we have all this data just at our fingertips for free is super underutilized for small businesses and especially real estate agents, at least from what I've seen working with agents for the past 10 or 5 to 7 years. So it's really hard to test trends because trends are different. They appeal to different people. They're just kind of really fleeting. They go quickly. Some last longer than others. It's hard to test our variables and the metrics that we're trying to improve and use as ways to track our progress if we're using trends that are going to really give us some outlier numbers, right? If on average you get 1,000 views per reel that you put up on Instagram, you do some sort of viral trend thing and it gets, let's say, 30,000 views. That's very possible. That's great, but then our whole metrics for that day and that week and that month are going to be really skewed, and they're not going to help us really be able to take away from what was working and what wasn't working. It just kind of really muddies the water, and at the end of the day, I know we all really want to get a bunch of views really quickly, but social media is great for testing, and testing means slow. One of my favorite phrases in marketing is, in business in general, is slow is smooth and smooth is fast. If you go slowly, it'll help you go move forward and progress steadily, which will ultimately make you fast in the long run. And I 1000% believe that. So not just is this about, of course, the different things that you should avoid with trends, but here's what we do instead with the clients that we work with. And I highly recommend that people do the same thing. So what you want to do here is focus on a few talking points. So this is, yes, relative to your industry as a real estate agent in your market, but I would say even go deeper than that. If you really like working with specifically buyers, that's a specific talking point. And I wouldn't really talk that much about sellers other than what it's relative to buyers. The reason is because, yeah, I know it sounds like, well, we don't want to get potential sellers off of our radar, but it doesn't work like that. Instead, the more you niche down, the more you're able to reflect what your target demographic is struggling with. That is the key to marketing. The more you're able to exemplify the problems that your prospect has, the more likely they're going to feel connected with you and feel like you can solve their problem. And in an industry where every single real estate agent is selling the exact same thing for basically the exact same price, we need to be able to stand out. So it's really important to have a few talking points. If you're really big on renovation, before selling your home, focus on that. Talk about those tips. If your big thing is talking about credit scores and how to improve those so that your clients can really qualify for their dream home, then focus on that. You know what you're best equipped for and what you know the best about, and that's going to be the thing that helps you stand out. Next is, of course, slow and gradual testing. Guys, I know I sound like a broken record with testing, but I cannot express enough how important it is. In a lot of other marketing, we're just sending out stuff and running on a treadmill and not really understanding what's getting us from point A to point B the most efficiently. In social media marketing and a lot of digital marketing, we don't have that problem. We're able to test things, but we're not able to test things if we throw wrenches into the mix. We're not able to test things if we suddenly change strategies every month. I have some clients who do that sometimes, and it makes things very difficult. Slow, gradual testing, that is the way that we see the best possible results. It just gives us the best kind of data, and the better data is, the better your testing is, the better your results are going to be. And let me tell you guys, if you do that for a couple of years, I know it sounds like forever, but if you're a real estate agent and you're 50 and you're planning on working until you're 65, you're working for another 15 years. And if you're younger, obviously more. So, you have a lot of time to benefit from that proper testing, but it only is going to help you if you do it right from the get-go. And then lastly, guys, is goal-minded strategies. We hear all the time about followers. We hear all the time about going viral. We hear all the time about engagement, getting the most likes and stuff. At the end of the day, any one of those can be your goal for different reasons. And I have a lot of different videos explaining what those benefits are. But at the end of the day, you need to understand what your goal is. If your goal is to increase your brand size and your brand recognition, which will help your already existing marketing to benefit you. It's basically called like a dark funnel, where people will see your normal marketing efforts, and because you have a presence, even if you don't have a ton of followers or a ton of views, they'll see your content on social media. It will get served to them likely through algorithms automatically, but you can also send people to that, and that will show your legitimacy. That will justify your brand and help people feel committed and strong about working with you. Again, a lot of competitors in every single market out there for real estate agents. So that will help you stand out from, Joe Realtor down the street. So it's really important. Now, that's very different. If your goal with social media marketing is lead generation, you're going to have a different strategy, and your KPIs, your key performance indicators, are going to be different, right? So if you're focusing on reach and building brand awareness, then yes, the amount of people you get in front of who, multiplied by the effectiveness score of that audience, right? The relatability score, how close to your target demographic they are, that's your goal. If your goal is lead generation, then yeah, we want to get leads, times number of leads times the quality of those leads. So you obviously have to have internal tools to track those things to make sure you're getting the best results there. But make sure you understand your goal, you're committed to it, you focus on slow, gradual testing, and you don't go off the rails. You stick to your talking points, even if it sounds like, oh man, it'd be so cool if I talked about this other thing. Oh man, these other realtors down the road are getting way, more views and stuff when they talk about X, Y, and Z. nobody knows what they're doing in real estate or in social media, especially a lot of people who are just randomly doing social media stuff. I've worked with a lot of real estate agents, and that usually is the case. So guys, stick with your strategy. Don't get that analysis paralysis, or rather that shiny object syndrome, and start darting off into different tactics. Otherwise, you're just going to have a bunch of half-assed strategies and nothing really to show for it. So those are the things that we do for our clients, and we see a lot of results for that. I hope that's helpful for you. Links down below if you're interested, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.